Hello and welcome to another live of Boomer 11. And here we are here to talk about cricket. Of course, the first and foremost, we have to talk about what is happening in the world of cricket. That is, especially with India taking on South Africa, Australia taking on Pakistan. Lots happening. But for at least for one day, the focus will shift towards the biggest league in the world, that is IPL. No matter what series is going to happen, but the focus is definitely going to be on this event. This is IPL auction, the mini auction, but doesn't look like a mini auction because there's some big players up for the grabs, some big spots and big purses as well. I have both Jaren and Sandeepani joining me here. I welcome both of you on the show. I'll get to Sandeepani first up. How do you see this, especially an IPL auction after a long time? The anticipation levels are high for almost everybody out there, but at the same time, you have to say you want to really get into IPL straight off, but you know that it's still 3 months away. But you want to start day after tomorrow if possible. That's one thing about IPL and what it brings.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the hype of this auction, the hype for the IPL starts with the auction itself. And then you have all sorts of predictions going around the news, and some players are expecting to get the big bucks, hopefully break another record for the highest sale or something. But I don't think this time around the team has a lot of teams have the purse to break the record for the highest sale for a player, that is. And especially I think if you talk about the team composition, I think it is going to be a very mini auction for teams like Lucknow Super Giants or a Mumbai Indians or a Rajasthan Royals, who does not have too much to play with, and the cash is limited, the players they need are limited, so they have very limited slots to fill, they have limited cash. But on the other hand, if you talk about a team like KKR, I think KKR in particular, they have just 13 players in the squad. They have to fill the other 12 players. So it's going to be a huge auction for KKR. Delhi Capitals, they have 9 players to fill. So it's a mixed bag of you can say this auction is not probably going to be as important as the last one, where there was lots of anticipation hype to see as to how the teams would look after the reshuffle. But this time around, it is going to be more to fill a particular section of boots, say for a bowler or a batter. Uh, and so I mean the hype is still there, but it's not going to be that big of a thing for a particular team, so as to say, because most of the teams have their core of 9 to 10 players that they're going to try out.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I'll come to Jen now. If you look at the IPL auction, one important thing about IPL auction, this is where teams are made, right? This is where championship teams are made. Often, the IPL auction day, the table where you buy the right players, you invest in the right amount, and if you're strategically going to plan that, you can have a championship squad. And then there are very few factors which can take away from you now winning that cup. Obviously, it's a big tournament, a lot of other factors do come in, but then if you have a very good squad here, you can say you're 120 or 30% of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a mini auction for sure, and I mean, we don't know if until unless they scrap the mega auctions, there's still a mega auction somewhere around the corner. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams go about it. As Sandimani rightly mentioned, a lot of teams are attempting to revamp their squad. Teams, especially like I think Delhi, KKR, as you rightly mentioned, even Sunrisers, I think to an extent are trying to revamp their squad, and I think that's definitely on the cards for them. Some of the other teams have already probably gotten what they want, and now they're just looking for players who can give their squad a little bit more depth and variety. And that's what these kind of mini auctions are. These mini auctions usually, at least for successful teams, they are to just strengthen what they have and maybe let go of, maybe when some of the players have retired or they've moved on, they're unavailable all of a sudden, just trying to fill those gaps in. And that's where a lot of teams who are already comfortable will feel a lot more comfortable coming in, because you would have to say that the teams who aren't comfortable, they're the ones who are going to really struggle, because you might have a lot of money in your purse, but you have to buy a lot of players as well, so you can't really go for the big names. But at the same time, you have to go for the big names because that's what's been missing in your squad, and that's the reason why you weren't performing for the past couple of years.
Absolutely. I mean, that is one factor. Who do you buy in these big auctions, right? Because often what happens is you're under a lot of pressure to do well. And auction tables, if you screw up, you as a manager or you as a coach can also get the sack, because we've seen that happen quite a lot of times. One of the interesting stories was Simon Catridge, what happened with SRH a couple of years ago, because the owner and the coach wasn't in the same page, especially an auction table. The coach got the sack eventually. So it's such a big day. But let's start off by talking about how things stand right as of now. So Dimani, I'll ask you about who are the players according to you who will fetch a lot of money. I mean, that's a very direct question, but still, you're still in the early days. You still want to see who can possibly get a big budget, who can possibly, go for a lot of money, because a lot of people are saying Koitze, a lot of people say Mitchell Stark, Madhushanka. So big names are obviously there, but you still want to see who will get the ideally big price, and all the teams will want to get a piece of him.
Yeah, I think over the past couple of years, if you have seen the trend, I think it's basically more or less the all-rounders that are often that often go for the huge amount of money, and then you also have certain bowlers who, for example, Jaydev Unadkat is a player that absolutely loves the auction, no matter for which team he's playing or at which year he's playing, what is his form, he still gets the big money. And so a lot of luck also comes into account as well. Suppose a team wants a player very very badly, but they don't probably have the purse to go for it. So or it also depends on what the team is feeling, the sentiments of the team, on what they need. For example, a CSK is going to look for a replacement for Ambati Raidu right now, so they would be keen on getting a batter. They might not go for the big money for some of the bowlers that you mentioned, a Pat Cummins or
Yeah,
a Mitchell Stark. So
yeah,
a lot of things come into the dynamic. That is why you see in this sort of high pressure stakes, you see coaches getting the sack. If the owner and the coach are not in the same, same thinking thought process, they usually the team usually suffers. And it is also going to be very interesting to see what the Delhi Capitals, I mean the guy who comes for the Delhi Capitals auction does, because he has his hand up all the time, but they can
yeah,
only afford to buy 9 players. So it is going to be very very interesting to see how things develop. But then again, you have certain key players, key marquee players. For example, like you mentioned, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark. You have a Dilshan Madhushankar. I don't know how much he'll fetch. Some of the Indian talents, I think, will
yeah.
go for the big bucks as well. Then you have in the batters as well. You have Harry Brooks. You have a Rachin Ravindra coming off
Hmm.
from a great World Cup. I think he's going to fetch in some good money as well. So
Hmm.
all in all, it's all going to depend on team dynamics, because mainly a team wants to go for a player, but they don't really need that sort of a player in their current composition. Then you
Yeah.
will probably see a lot of high stake players like even a. I won't be surprised if a Harry Brooks goes for amount of money lesser than 2 crores. I mean, I don't know what his best price is, but he might even go for a best price if the other teams don't want him, because the last IPL we saw how he performed after getting that
Absolutely.
huge amount of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's look at the competition at this point as to who has the budget and how many slots are yet to be filled. Chennai Super Kings start out with defending champions. They've got 31.4 crores and 6 slots. Obviously, that includes Ambati Raidu being retired and Ben Stokes being released. Two big slots over there. Foreign slots available are three at this point. Then there's Gujarat Titans, who let go of their captain Hardik Pandya. To Mumbai Indians have got 38.15 crore because they only took cash in return and there was no exchange player which was taken. So that's a big budget as well, and they'd obviously want an all rounder, and it's not easy to replace an Indian all rounder like Hardik Pandya. So they'd be in with a lot of players to purchase, but the overseas slots are just two. And if you look at this auction primarily, you can understand that they'd want to purchase one big overseas player, could ideally be an all rounder, or they'd want to go in with mostly by picking up one big baller who could possibly make a difference, because at this point they've got their bowling covered. If you look from the outside, they've got Mohammad Shami, they've got Rashid Khan, who yet is not yet confirmed that he'll play the IPL or not. If Rashid Khan is not there, they want to get his replacement or his backup. There's Noor Ahmed, of course, and last season you saw about Noor and Rashid playing together. Jaren, let's start off by talking about Chennai Super Kings. How do you see them faring up in this auction, looking at how the budget they have in their hand and with the options which is available in the auction table tomorrow?
Yeah, I think probably as Salimani rightly mentioned as well, they are looking for two main players that they've really lost. One is Ben Stokes, and the other is obviously Ambati Raidu. Now, Ambati Raidu is a very important player for that team, especially considering we don't know how. Even last season as well, we saw how Ambati Raidu took most of that, finishing duties off of MSD's hands, because MSD was really not that player who could come in and maybe play for 4 to 5 overs because he had that one bad knee. Now we don't know how much injury. I mean, how much recovery he has made, and from what we have seen so far, it doesn't seem to be really recovered. So that would mean they need an Indian batter who can do that job. Now I know there are a lot of talks about Manish Pandey, and I think it's not something that is out of the realm of possibility that they might just go for
This
him.
is
And
just want to give a viewers a context. This is some a predictive analysis of who could be bought by who tomorrow, and we're looking at possible budgets. We are looking just on form and on reality of budget as well. We're not going to be like Geo Show as Teju mentioned. We're not going to spend 19 crore on Mitchell Stark here. That was just really funny in my opinion because some of the great cricketing experts were looking berserk, and they were some of them who spend their time on auction tables as well. So we will not act weird. We act with diligence. We know what our purses are, and accordingly, we'll predict what the teams are. Just giving you an analysis as to who can go to who. Yeah, go on.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Chennai might go about it two ways. About able, they obviously have one foreign slot left with Ben Stokes gone, and they also need a batter. So they might, because there are not a lot of Indian batters available as well. And when I say Indian batters available, I mean those batters you can really depend on. It's the kind of batters that Chennai go after.
Yeah.
And with Manish Pandey's stocks really dipping, Chennai might even try and go for a foreign batter who can play in the middle order, and maybe then go for an Indian all rounder, maybe someone like
Mhm.
Shardul Thakur, bring him back to the fold, where he really did last
Yeah.
time well last
Absolutely.
time.
But let's look at the squads, right? I mean, this squad
Yeah,
also includes who we might want to see in Chennai's squad. Now, if you look at Chennai's squad, we've included Daryl Mitchell there, as Jen rightly mentioned, a foreign
yeah,
batter who can bat in the middle order. And then you can look at an Indian batter who can bat in the middle order. That is Karun Nair, because we did speak about who can fit into those roles. And Karun Nair looks like a good player who can play spin, can bat number 4, 5 if need be. He had a decent presidency cup in Karnataka where he was batting number 3, number 4, and he really did score well. And all the players we picked is based on T20 form, nothing based on the one-day form. Also giving into consideration that Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, barring Vijay Hazare, because Vijay Hazare
And
is
also
still a
giving
longer
into
format.
consideration, Karun Nair has fallen out of favors from the selectors as well. I think that is
Yes.
a huge thing you should take into account when you're selecting a team for CSK.
Yeah, point to prove is a serious mentality. I mean, I was just reading about different ways in which teams do build. One is players you buy players on form. Other is mentality and point to
yeah,
prove. And CSK has always worked on point to prove because
yeah.
that's how they really ignite the players. Last year you saw Ajinkya Rahane coming good, Shivam Dubey, Ambati Raidu for that matter. So Karun Nair is a good player who can really be ignited to say you have a point to prove. So I don't really see otherwise as to why Karunai shouldn't be playing for CSK. He can really fit into the mix, and he's got the ability. I mean, let's not. I mean, if you look at his biggest knock of his career has come in Chennai. I mean, though it's in test matches, I think he'll get good memories going into Chepauk where he can score a lot of runs. Him batting at number 4, number 5, even it can be used as an impact sub if need be, because that rule is still there. Let's not forget that. So how do you see that particular player? Now, if you look at CSK, though you don't have to look at the other players. I know it's so hard to say who we picked for other teams, but look at this guy. Karun Nair, Daryl Mitchell, you think is an ideal fit for your team?
No, yeah, absolutely. I think, especially someone like, I mean, just looking at Daryl Mitchell for to start off with, what he also did really well in the World Cup, he showed that he can play spinners really well, and he can be that option, the kind of baller that Dhoni likes, who you don't really know what to expect from, and whom you can just suddenly throw in the mix.
Uh-huh.
And given the fact that I think they might also look for an Indian pacer just to give a little bit more experience there, because you felt there were times in that match, in the last season, where you felt like they lacked a more senior player, senior pace bowler, so as to say. And I think Harshal Patel might just be there on that list high, because the skill set that he's got is very similar to what Dwayne Bravo had for Chennai, and what he did so many years for Chennai. And I think last year they tried to get Ben Stokes to try and replicate that role, which I really did not understand
Yeah.
why. So
Yeah.
I think him being there is not a bad option. Jason Holder as well. If they don't get any of these players, a surprise pick could be Jason Holder as well.
Absolutely. So I'm also expecting them to go for Josh Hazelwood primarily because they will
Oh
start
yeah,
off the tournament with Patirana. In case he doesn't have a good tournament, Josh
yeah.
Hazelwood would be available by the middle of the tournament. I'm assuming. So then
But
they can go in with Josh Hazelwood because a lot
lineup,
of teams.
you already
Yes.
have Moeen Ali in the middle order. You already have a Devon Conway at the top, and I don't think they're going to, change Devon Conway or a Moeen Ali. So the third player that goes to play is going to be Pathirana based on last year's form. He has had a horrible time in the World Cup, but that is a separate format altogether. And
Yeah.
Dhoni uses him in the best way
I
possible.
mean, Dhoni did kind of call it as well. He did say don't use him anywhere but T20.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so
I mean,
basically you have these three players fixed, so you just have that one slot where you
Yeah,
have the
so,
likes of Mitchell
one of the
Santner.
reasons why I thought Darren Mitchell would be a good fit is because if they have
Yeah,
Devon Conway opening the batting with Ruturaj Gaikwad and with Moeen Ali playing, they can bat, they can go in for another middle order overseas
yeah,
pick, especially to replace Raidu. Then maybe drop a Tikshana who they've been carrying all these years as an overseas spinner
yeah,
and play an Indian spinner. So this is where it's going to be very interesting as to who CSK plays as an Indian spinner. Because if they're not
yeah.
going to go with Tikshana, they definitely want an Indian spinner to do well. They have got options there. If you look at Prashant Solanki, is one player they'd want to unleash, but he's still an unknown quantity. And adding to that, if CSK would want to go otherwise, they might as well go in with a Mehdi Hasan Miraj, who's an outside pick, I'd say, for that
Hmm.
particular team, who can bat anywhere in the batting order and also give you a couple of overs with the ball.
I
And
Now,
think
remember, it is going to be an Indian spinner is going to be very, very integral to the team because in their home matches, I think it will be a huge, huge advantage for them if they can go in with a quality spinner because they already have the likes of Jadeja, Moeen Ali, and if they want to really
I
X
think
Chikshana, they'll have to go in
I
with a proper
still
Indian
believe
spinner.
Abel. I don't think a Mehdi Hasan Miraz will come into this team because you already got a Mitch Santner and
yeah.
he's done
See,
Yeah,
if
extremely
you
well
look at
for
exactly what I'm trying to say,
in
if they
T20.
if
So I
they
think
don't get Daryl Mitchell, if they want someone to play that role, they can go in with there, or else I don't really see Tikshana playing. If you want to fit in a Daryl Mitchell into this team, because then you are looking again for overseas slots. You see that four overseas we have highlighted; those are the four who will play, except maybe a Matt Mitchell Sander, because Monali will start, Patinana will start. I'm expecting Devon Conway to start. Then it's
no, but
going
I
to be
also
between.
feel Abel is Akil Hussain. A player like Akil Hussain can be a good call for CSK because he can come in and bowl in the power plays as well. We have seen CSK in the last year with the
I
lack
don't see
of proper
CSK
experienced
playing
pacers.
another left arm spinner when Jadeja is there.
yeah,
So
exactly. I think
they
Jadeja
might
Santner
they might as well go in with a
they don't
leggy, and
need
that's why I
another.
think Prashant Solanki is slightly ahead on the pedestrian. Or else, if they want to go in for, if they want to purchase someone like a Shreyas Gopal, as we mentioned, if you look at that
Yeah.
auction, we've also mentioned Shreyas
Yeah,
Gopal in that mix.
yeah.
So Shreyas Gopal is another option they have. Though RCB are
Shreyas
having a
Gopal,
keen
Murugan
eye on
Ashwin.
Shreyas Gopal. Yes, go ahead.
I think Murugan Ashwin is also going to be a good
Murugan Ashwin, yes.
guy. Yeah.
Or Siddharth Maniraman is another one. Is another local spinner, plays for Tamil Nadu, who can contribute a little bit with the bat as well. So Shreyas Gopal, Siddharth Maniraman, or as you mentioned, this could be a couple of the ballers who they can target. Let's go to the next team who we have. It's Delhi Capitals, obviously. How do you see them? Because released close to 10 players, has got decent amount of budgets. If you look at the budget column as well, they're a team with decent amount of budget at this point, can possibly wreak a lot of havoc, as you mentioned. Delhi Capitals owner racing the bar quite often. 28.95 crores. Release Sarfraz Khan, release Ripal Patel, release Chetan Sakaria, release Nagar Koti. A lot of them. I mean, if I have to go on, they have released so many players that a lot of other teams can even make a team of uncapped players with that. So how do you see Delhi Capitals firing up Sandeep in this auction? Because they have to be very careful, understand that Rishabh Pant is going to be back. We have predicted again who they can possibly go for. As Teju also mentioned, we'll just take some comments meanwhile. CSK carrying experienced Moeen on another season without any contribution. That's been CSK, right? They know if Moeen is not going to contribute, they might as well get in a Mitchell Sandner or a Darren Mitchell, whoever can do the job. So it all
But that,
depends on the way in which
I
Moeen
think
is
it's
going.
also the fact that CSK, like they won last year without Moeen Ali contributing anything, and that's
Yeah.
what that's how they are. They believe that Moeen Ali will contribute once or maybe for a couple of matches. That's enough. That's all they need from a player.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something which they know, and obviously playing in Chepauk, he adds value with the ball as well. He can contribute at
Yeah.
least 2 or 3 overs in a game. That's something which you have to keep in mind. Tejas says Akil can be an underrated pick. We agree. He is
Yeah,
someone
exactly,
who's
and I
not
think
being
he
molded on.
has. Yeah, for he's doing the job that a Samuel Badri did for them back in the day. I think different sort of a spinner, but he is bowling very well in the power plays. Even if you see the T20 series that is going on against England, that West Indies are facing against England, I think even Moti along with Akil Hussain, the spinners are going really well in that tournament in that series for them. But talking
Absolutely.
about Delhi Capitals, I feel, I think this predicted thing is spot on. I think they are going to go for a top order batsman, especially because now they have released a Robman Powell. So they would look to get in a Phil Salt or a Tristan Stubbs. I think that will be a good value addition to the side. And also you have the likes of David Warner opening the innings with most probably with Prithvi Shaw, and then
Yeah.
you'll have Mitchell Marsh coming in at number 3. So they'll
Mhm.
need to strengthen that middle order. That has been, or that had been, the cause of concern for Delhi Capitals last season around. There was
Yeah.
no Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant coming on this time, but they have released Ripal Patel, they have released
Yeah.
Sarfaraz Khan. So a lot of middle order, lower middle order batters they have released. So they
Yeah.
will be hoping to fill that place with the likes of a Tristan Stubbs or a Phil Salt. I think that
Yeah.
would be a great addition.
Absolutely. We've also brought in Shubham Dubey. A lot of teams have an eye on this young lad, a fast bowling all rounder from Karnataka, obviously. Had a phenomenal presidency cup once again. He can contribute with the left hand batter, can ball medium pace. Was called for the trials for CSK and for Mumbai as well. So he's an interesting pick over there. And if at all they'd want to go, because Delhi are very good in investing in these youngsters. Because last season as well, if you look at Ripal Patel, a lot of these youngsters did go into Delhi's camp. I'm expecting Shubham Dubey to be again picked by Shubham Dubey to be picked by a team like Delhi, and I think he's going to fit in somewhere like number 6, number 7, can be used as an impact sub if need be, and also at the same time, Shah Rukh Khan, and I think he's going to be a big budget buy for them. He's
Hmm.
exactly what they need at number 6 or number 5, because Akshar Patel I think is a decent bat at number 6 in IPL. If you're
Yeah.
putting him at number 7 in India, he can bat number 6 or IPL. He can be used anywhere in the top 5 if you're going to give him a promotion. I think I'd really like to see Akshar Patel being promoted even up, because he's too underrated and he's too good to be batting number 8, number 7 for DC, in my opinion.
And he
Release
has
Powell.
got the opportunity for India as well. You have seen Akshay Patel getting promoted to number 5 when Jadeja is not playing. If they want to send in a floater ahead, left-handed floater ahead of a proper batsman, they do send in a Akshay Patel at number 5. There has been instances where he has done that. And also, I think if Delhi can somehow manage to get the players that the predictive analysis has predicted, if they can get in a Harshal Patel, Tristan Stubbs, Phil Salt, Yes Dhul, Shah Rukh Khan, I think they are going to have the best auction.
Yeah. If they can get at least 3 or 4 of these players, Spencer Johnson is
Yeah.
another exciting addition. A phenomenal BBL last time around. Uh, Jaren, what do you think about Delhi Capitals? Because one thing we often talk about Delhi Capitals, they're a team of hits and misses. More often than not, what happens is they don't really come good, especially when it comes to auctions, and they often tend to mess up. They really did build a good team in 2019, but they lost it because of the mega auction, obviously. But come 2022, 2023, that wasn't something which they really expect. They went back to the old roots of really messing it up in auction, and that really caused them to backfire. Also, given the fact that they lost one of the main players in Rishabh Pant due to injury, otherwise they could have really built something around him. And if he was there, that would have given them a lot more balance. But you just still saw a lot of players, a lot of uncapped players being part of the squad who was not really used well. Middle order was left way too open, chopping and changing throughout the tournament.
Yeah. No, I also believe Abel that another mistake that they really did is, now I'm someone who believes that when it comes to IPL and teams like that, you cannot really just rely on young uncapped players. Now that's not
Yeah,
me saying that they don't have talent or they won't perform well, but solely relying on those players is a very it's a very risky one, because
yeah,
those players, while they are very talented for sure, and IPL squad scouts don't really make a lot of mistakes because they are the best that we have in the game. But you really have to need some kind of experience there. And I think couple of years Delhi has made the mistake of filling their camps with youngsters only, and then
yeah,
just a couple of senior players. And I think, especially when it comes to senior players as well, you have to say that the senior players they've chosen are a lot of foreign senior players.
yeah,
And you need Indian senior players in that squad to just get through to the youngsters, get them, because these are I mean, while David Warner, all these guys are big names, you
yeah.
still need some Indian senior players, because they are the ones, because the experience of David Warner is completely different to the experience of a young Indian player, and that can only
Yeah.
be
And that is why I
replicated
feel the
by a
retention
senior
of
player.
Ishan Sharma is a great call from Delhi Capitals for a
Yeah,
change.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I mean,
absolutely.
the rest of it, you would have to say that the predicted auctions once again, right? I think Tristan Stubbs is someone they should really go after, and the reason I say that is because They did get Phil Salt last time. They got Riley Russo, but none of those players
Yeah,
can
and
play.
they also mentioned maybe they should have retained a Powell. He could have come good sometime for them in this tournament. And the more you
Cable, they
back
are
him,
not a
you
squad
expect
that
him to
can
do well in
carry a
certain
player
pitches.
like Powell. Now, for example, a
He
Chennai, a
was just
Mumbai,
2.7 crores at the end of the day, right? He was not a lot. How much was he?
yeah,
Was he 2.7? Yeah, he was 2.7.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the same time, if you're going to put him in the auction, he might just go for a lot more. And to have someone of his caliber to bat number six, number seven, can maybe contribute a couple of overs with the ball. I mean, that is a value addition player. And that's something I thought they did a blunder. I understand that he did not really deliver for them in the couple of seasons he played for them. But maybe should have thought about a little more deeper, because I bet they're not going to get him back at that cheap of a price, or they're not going to get
oh,
him back of
absolutely.
anything less than 4 to 5 crores.
Yeah, I think I'll give you one thing though. When we spoke about Roman Powell as well, I just felt like, you need to have a player like Roman Powell. You need to be able to, have a batting depth, have batting depth where that the rest of your players are going to play at least 190 deliveries
Uh-huh.
guaranteed. Because then someone like a Roman Powell can come in those 30 deliveries and really change the face of the game. But if you expect Roman Powell to play, I don't know, 50, 60 deliveries, that's never going to happen. He's not that kind of a player. He's a player who lives by the sword,
Yeah,
dies by the sword.
yeah,
And you need to give him that freedom, that space. If you give him a lot of responsibility, if you make him the linchpin of your batting, it won't work. I think if they could have really, with Rishabh Pant coming in especially, they could have maybe given him that opportunity to maybe prove himself and give him the role that he actually plays for West Indies as well. And
yeah.
that's where I'll kind of agree with you. Maybe their idea is that since Robin Powell's stocks has really also fallen in international cricket, that they might just get him a little bit more cheaper, or maybe someone who they expect to play that kind of a role, but in a better way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also expecting Shah Rukh Khan to go for close to 10 crore for DC as we have predicted. So if things go well, he's going to be a good buy for DC at number five, number six. And he can contribute really big time for them, especially at number five, number six, because they need a finisher alongside Akshar Patel for them. Let's go to GT, a team with the biggest purse tomorrow. And they have lost Hardik Pandya, obviously. So it's not going to be easy to replace him. At this point, if you look at what they have and who they can possibly get, Mitchell Stark is one player they want to invest on. Uh, just because of what he can bring into the table alongside a Mohammad Shami, if you have Mitchell Stark, and then if you put up that bowling attack consisting of Rashid Khan, Mitchell Stark, and Noor Ahmed, that is a much more potent bowling attack. Then you can also play Sai Kishore on certain occasions, and then who's the other pieces they have? They can possibly even look at buying another Indian pacer there, who I'm
Yeah.
expecting Raj Angad Bawa can contribute a little bit with the bat. I know he's nothing compared to Hardik Pandya when it comes to all-round ability, but still a decent pick out there when it comes to what you can develop him for the future as well. And he's definitely going to be alongside someone like Ashish Nehra, Gary Kirsten, and these lads who can groom him for the future. Now they have Josh Little and Mohammad Shami, but obviously it's a better upgraded version of Josh Little as Mitchell Stark in your team, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I don't really feel that they need to replace a Hardik Pandya with an all-rounder, because this has been, personally, this has been my problem with Gujarat Titans. They have had lots of all-rounders, and they really lack specialist batters, or they have a lots of specialist bowlers as well. But yeah, I would agree to your point that a Mitchell Stark addition of a Mitchell Stark to this already potent bowling lineup will do them a whole lot of a good. But for me, I think Chetan Sakaria, Raj Angad Bawa, they are going to be, if Gujarat Titans can get two or three young Indian fast bowlers, I think that is going to be a good thing for them. Because if you look at the team, they already have a Josh Little, they already have Mohammad Shami, they have Noor Ahmed, Rashid Khan. So their bowling is more or less settled, and it's just the replacement that they'll be looking for.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
Yeah, they'll go for Mitchell Stark for sure, because that will be a great addition to this side.
Yeah.
But with addition to that, I think they'll need good Indian specialist bowlers and
I
specialist
think
batters as
at
well.
this point they'll be very happy to see the growth of Sai Sudarshan, the player, because he solves a lot of
Yeah,
issues for them. An Indian batter who can score runs alongside Shubman Gill, that's two slots lock in. Now, if Ridhiman Sar is going to keep wickets once again, or if they want an overseas pick, maybe if they don't want to play Kane Williamson, they can play Josh Inglis to keep wickets. Then you can play Shubman Gill, Josh Inglis, and then you can play someone like a Sai Sudarshan in top three. That's a solid top three. Then I am expecting them to have someone like I really love to see David Miller number four, number five, And then they have
Mhm.
even options if you look down the other, like Vijay Shankar, given the fact that he had a decent season last time around, he'd bat at number 5 for them. And then who else do they have? If they want, they can increase it because Rashid Khan can bat number 7, Rahul Tewati
Yeah,
is going to be a show in at number 6. Their team looks more or less settled because the same
settled
thing was done when
exactly,
Draft
and
after
that is
season.
why I don't even think that they are going to go for a Josh English, because they have Matthew Wade in there as well, who can
Yeah. So,
play a
Yeah,
similar sort of role.
absolutely.
because Matthew Wade prefers batting lower down the order, in T20 cricket, you'd want a top order wicketkeeper bat. And I ideally like to see someone like a Ridhiman Saha to go for one more season. If not Ridhiman Saha, it's fine. That still makes a strong core of 4 Indian batters of Abhinav Manohar, Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan, and Ridhiman Saha. Then you can build a team around them.
Yeah.
Then you can have Rahul Tewati as a floater, then Rashid Khan, David Miller, or whether or not you play Kane Williamson or not is up to you. So that's a decent team to look into because they've done well last couple of seasons with the same names. Though if you look on the paper, they might not really impress you. That's exactly what we had in our minds after 2022 auction, but they came to prove us all wrong. So I don't think Hardik Pandya's miss is going to really hurt them if they can build upon it tomorrow by beginning some of the big buys. But let's go to KKR, Sandeep, your team, obviously. Big news for them is that Shreyas Iyer is back. So but they just say Pat Cummins for GT. If not Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, it's going to be a toss up between them both for them tomorrow.
Yeah,
They'll be happy with either of them.
because they have the
So
purse.
yeah, they have the purse as well to get even both if need be.
Hmm.
But I don't see that happening ideally. But let's
Yeah.
look into KKR predictive analysis. We've gone for Harry Brook, Pat Cummins in KKR once again, and Jalal Khoidze, and we've gone with someone like Kumar Kushagra, Siddharth Kaul. Then we have gone with one important buy once again is going to be Kamlesh Nagarkoti back to his home, and
Yeah.
David Visa, who you release maybe can get at a better price this time around. How do you see this team, Sandeep?
Yeah, I think if they can once again get in all the names that are mentioned in the paper, I think it will be a great auction for KKR, especially because Harry Brook, like if you remember the last season as well, after the century at Eden Gardens, he was all happy and said, "I have shown the media what not, what not." And then he failed. My point being, he failed in the other 13 games and just scored at Eden Gardens. So I think he is more comfortable playing for KKR than rather going in other venues and struggling. So that is going to be a good pick for them. And once again, I mean, he scored 31 runs of 9 deliveries, if I'm not wrong, in the
Yeah,
last game against West Indies to, I mean, pull off a miraculous chase.
yeah,
So that is going to be a very, very good value addition to the side. And also, I think they are going to go for a Pat Cummins or Quidze because uh, particularly you have seen Andrew Russell has struggled with the ball in his comeback for the international side as well. In the first game, he was the man of the match, picked up 3 wickets. But since then, second game, he went for some 60 odd runs in 4 overs.
yeah,
Last game
yeah,
as well, he traveled for 50 odd runs in 4 overs. And if you look at the KKR lineup, they don't have a foreign pacer. So once again, they are going to go for a Pat Cummins. Or I think Koidze will be a smarter choice, or even both.
yeah,
I don't really mind. And I think the predictive analysis has done the right thing. They have gone with a David Vise. I think that is something that KKR, a very KKR sort of a decision to release a player and then buy him back for a lower rate. Something that is why I think Kamlesh Nagarkoti is a very good call as well. And I
yeah.
would be excited if a Siddharth call gets into KKR as well. Apart from
Mhm.
the young talents, I think Siddharth call is that sort of a bowler who would probably look to replicate a season that Lakshmipati Balaji had for KKR. Different
Yeah,
conditions,
a
but
very
yeah,
interesting point by Teju here. If you look what he has made, and
yeah,
we need to also understand it's a Gautam Gambhir's team now. From whatever we can understand, he'd want to
Yeah.
take complete owners of the team. Jaren, I think he's not wrong in saying that KKR might want to go in with a spin-heavy team and want to purchase a lot of spinners. Now we did speak about, or we did show about getting Pat Cummins and Gerald Coetzee, but don't be surprised if they go in with a couple more spinners.
but
Maybe
I
an
think
Akhil Hussain,
honestly, they have Varun Chakravarti, they have the young talent Suyash
Shoaib
Sharma,
Sharma.
Sunil Narayan is
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there,
so
think
Anukul Roy is there, Nitish Rana. Five spinners
they've
are,
got the spinners.
So
yeah,
I'm saying that they might just get in bowlers who can do change-ups as well, a lot more. Dilshan Madhushanka, I think, is an ideal fit for KKR, but I still
yeah.
think Patrick Cummins with the skill sets he's developed in the recent past, that off cutter which has been able to
Yeah, I
deliver a
think
lot more.
I'll be very frank. I think Patrick Cummins is definitely high up on Gautam Gambhir's list because he got
Yeah.
Virat Kohli out. and that has to mean something.
Yeah,
And
don't be
also, I feel
surprised.
honestly, I feel they need a replacement for Sunil Narayan in that side, because if you look at it, they don't really have a foreign spinning option
Yeah,
apart from Sunil
I think
Narayan.
Hasaranga could be another wild card in this team who
Yeah.
they might just want to peep into. But it all depends on Hasaranga's fitness as well. That's why a lot of teams might not just go heavy at Hasaranga. What if he just pulls out in the last moment, and what if he's not available for half of the IPL?
I
That's
think
one
Adil
issue with
Rashid is another bowler that can really go to KKR, because
yeah,
Gautam Gambhir loves specialist spinning bowling options. He is not
yeah.
so heavy on all round spinners. He is more on proper specialist spinners. So I won't be surprised if they go for a Akil Hussain or a Adil Rashid.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one factor which we need to talk about. But that's about it with KKL. Let's go to Lucknow Super Giants because whatever we can see is that they want to get in the local boy Karthik Tyagi, who's had a phenomenal time in the Syed Mustaqil Trophy, bowling at some really high gas. Samir Rizvi, very impressive, great wicketkeeper batter. Everybody's talking about him. People want to take a note and see how he goes about it. Samir Rizvi and Murugan Ashwin is another player they want to really have. It all depends on the kind of pitches they provide as well in Lucknow this time around. If they want to go in
Hmm.
spin heavy, if they want to go pace heavy. But I still see Karthik Tyagi really making it after releasing someone like an Avesh Khan. They want to fill in that role, and at the same time who can ball quick and ball the death as well, alongside someone like a Mohsin Khan who they have already in the team. How do you see this team, Jaren, to start off with?
I mean, I think very frankly speaking, Abel, this team does look like a team which could, really benefit if they have a pitch which is more conducive to fast bowling. Because look at the paces they've already got. They've got some really good players. They can, as you rightly mentioned, they've already got the amount of players they need to do a very well on pacey pitches. But I think for some reason you would have to say that they might just be wary of those pitches and might just go for a spinner as well. I think aside from what we are seeing here, they might look for someone like Adam Zampa or someone like Hasranga as well. Even a Keshav Maharaj could be a very good pick, because if it is similar pitches to what we saw when the
Yeah,
World Cup, we did see not pitches that were as as much when it comes to turn as some of the other pitches that we saw earlier. But even then, it wasn't like it was a lot different, and I think that's where you might just see these lads getting a little bit more importance from the LSG camp.
absolutely. Yeah, that's about from LSG. Sunil, we'll talk about the MI team, and we have a lot to talk about the MI team. Rather, they got in they got in the trade of Romario Shepherd, but the biggest trade is not Romario Shepherd. It is a player who's been traded in to make as MI captain. Now, a lot of reports are saying there could be a possibility of a Rohit Sharma trade post the auction. Now, that is very interesting. Which team has the budget to buy Rohit Sharma for 15? Who's going to reserve it? Tomorrow you will know if Chennai wants Rohit Sharma and they want to reserve that 15 crore. You would you would know that
I would
tomorrow.
have
But
loved if KKR could somehow get Rohit Sharma, because he has a spectacular record at Eden Gardens.
but
Yeah,
let's see the
actually.
purses once again, right? I mean, knowing the purses, we know who's in a better position to save 15 crores, and knowing that we are okay to go in for an auction for just for the namesake. So KKR has got 32 crores. If they can spend 16 tomorrow, for that matter, they can still keep a purse for Rohit Sharma
But
as
I think
what.
realistically, I think Gujarat Titans has the best ideal scenario to get in a Rohit Sharma with
No,
38
but I
crores
think
and only 8 players to
with the
buy.
likes of Kane Williamson being already there, they don't really need an opening player batter again.
Yeah, obviously.
I
Yeah.
But
think
I
that's
think
where,
if you talk about budget, I think if you talk
yeah.
about budget, I think Gujarat Titans should be the
But
one that should.
before all that, before we start our rumors, but let's look at Mumbai Indians. Hardik Pandya
Yeah.
is the captain of this team. No more Rohit Sharma to start off with. Let that sink in for a moment. We were here, Jaren Satyamani, we were here in WTC when
Yeah.
we predicted Hardik Pandya to come into Mumbai Indians. We predicted everything what is happening right now. We're not surprised by it at all. But the fact of the matter is the way in which it's been played out, right, in the media and everywhere there. It looks like it's Saw Graves for Rohit Sharma. It's not really taken it well, and his teammates haven't taken it well either. For example,
Hmm.
Juzwin, the Chelsea innings deep into Rohit Sharma, or Surya Kumar Yadav.
And
Maybe
rightly
all
so.
is not
Rightly
well in
so.
Mumbai Indians at this point. I mean, one of the most successful team has been just broken by one trade.
And that is exactly what should happen for I mean for a trade like this. I know a lot of people. I mean, we went on and we said Hardik Pandya was going to come back to MI, but then again, you have to understand that they already had a leader. They already had a leading figure. It's like, I mean, to put it into context, it's as if Rohit Sharma is going into CSK and replacing Dhoni as the captain for
Yeah,
this season. That is
yeah.
something that will not be
It is a
taken well by
possibility
any.
for that matter, you know. Let's just
No,
not jump
I
on
mean,
that.
if even if Rohit Sharma goes to CSK, I think Dhoni would still look to hang up the boots because he has already retired from international
No, I
cricket
think
for the
Salimani
last
would
4 years.
more serious now. See, it's not like it's not happened before. Yeah, I mean, for example, RCB at Faf du Plessis is a very good example. It's
Yeah,
happened before, but that
KKR
was
and
with Virat
Ganguly.
Kohli's.
Gautam Gambhir
Yeah,
came in, replaced Ganguly.
absolutely. But I mean, I think KKR and Ganguly was very unceremonious, but then it was
Yeah,
also understandable because Saurav Ganguly hadn't done the job that was expected
exactly.
of him. But if you look at, I think the best example for this is RCB versus RCB and Faf du Plessis. Now, Virat Kohli himself willingly, voluntarily hung up his boots, and that's when RCB went for someone else. But in this case, now this has completely happened in the dark. You've
Yeah.
completely stolen off Rohit Sharma's captaincy in the dark, and that's for me. I am a Chennai Super Kings fan. I think loyalty is what is probably the most is probably the biggest of our traits, and I can't believe what's happening there. I mean,
You know, it was something very similar like
See,
what
I
happened
am a
with
KKR
Bangalore, to be
fan, and
honest.
loyalty is
Uh,
not one of our biggest traits. But I still feel this is one of the most absurd calls that MI has taken.
I won't say it's absurd. It's a
it's not
very
absurd, right?
futuristic call, looking at who should be replaced by who, looking at the future IPLs,
No, but
looking at
you
how
have a.
long,
I
who
mean,
they
if
should retain for the mega auction, because I think mega auction is definitely there now. Looking, obviously, franchise will know a thing or two about whether mega auction is happening or not. Considering that, I'm pretty sure if not now, next season Rohit Sharma is going to be released by MI because there are only going to be four Indians who can be retained. I see Bumrah, Surya, and Hardik being retained as the four Indians. And the rest is going to be up to them. So these are the four players, in my opinion, who will be retained. Otherwise, some of the players
no,
who
that is
doesn't
still
want to part of
fine,
the
Abel.
team.
But my point being, you already had the likes of Bumrah or Surya Kumar Yadav, who are captaincy material, captaincy
It's not
contenders in your
that, you know,
team.
they are looking at the
No,
brand
I think
value,
captaincy is
different things.
only to appease Hardik Pandya. The main
Yeah.
goal is to have him in the team.
Yes, exactly. The main goal is to have him in the team. Captaincy was just an extra bit of because he wanted captaincy definitely. Or why would he make a move from GT, leaving
Yeah,
captaincy to
exactly,
Mumbai?
exactly.
He also wants to come in.
That has already been made very clear everywhere that Hardik Pandya is the one that wanted the captaincy, and it was not the other way around.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's no surprises here. But
But I think
yeah,
the question again is going to be, whether Mumbai has. I mean, I understand that there is certain following as well, but now if you really look at it, has Mumbai really shot themselves in the foot? Is something that's going to be interesting to see because so far it has not been as widely received as probably they expected it to be.
yeah, I agree because a lot of people thought, you know, this can be a smooth transition. Or else, you know, Rohit Sharma himself should have made the announcement that I'm stepping down from
Yeah,
captaincy, which was the right way to
Yeah.
go. I thought that was not handled. That's the reason why people are agitated. If Rohit
yeah.
Sharma was the one who's resigned, that's fine. Now it looks like Rohit
Resigned in
Sharma
a
is
point.
sacked.
I mean,
Now
that's where
that is
I
not a
brought up
good
the
thing.
RCB. That's where I brought up the RCB example. Yeah, Virat Kohli himself came out and said, had a whole video about it, that he's grateful, he's thankful, and he wants a change. And if that had not happened, imagine if Virat Kohli had been removed in the same similar manner. I think there would have been just as much reaction,
This
just
is
as much.
more like how
Yeah,
Virat Kohli was removed out of the one day team, right? How one
And
day
also, I
captaincy.
think a lot has to do with what the BCCI has done as well. BCCI has clearly stated that the call from MI is their personal, and for India going into the 2024 T20 World Cup, they're still looking at Rohit Sharma as the captain, and that is when all the everything started to go out of control because. In case of Virat Kohli, he had already stepped down from Indian captaincy, and then he
Yeah,
decided to step down from the franchise captaincy as well.
yeah,
In case of Rohit Sharma, he still Hardik Pandya is captaining the T20 side because Kohli and some of the
mm,
Rohit Sharma and some of the senior players were not playing T20
yeah,
because this was not a World Cup T20 World Cup year.
yeah,
So now the picture it looks as if that Mumbai Indians are sacking Rohit Sharma, whereas
mhm,
BCCI still has the trust in Rohit Sharma to pull off another year. And also, I think
absolutely.
a lot of people are taking into the sentiments of the World Cup final as well. A captain
yeah,
who gave it his all in the first 10 games and probably
absolutely.
in the 11th game as well, lost just
Mhm.
that one game, and suddenly he's been sacked from his franchise, for whom
Absolutely.
he
It
has
just makes
already won
sense to
five
me because
titles.
he took a team without Bumrah into the playoffs. So I don't know what is a. I understand they strive for success. They're a team who's high on success because Chennai won an IPL last season. They really want to get ahead of Chennai by at least 2 trophies now. Because they want to be at 7 and they want Chennai to still be at 5. Now that's a
I think more than
competitive
success,
rivalry. These two.
they strive for hype. They strive for buzz about
Obviously, I mean, it's
around the
all
team.
it's
And
it's
yeah,
one factor. It's a known factor that Chennai Super Kings is a team they really look for. Not Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians is a team they look for success. Similarly, like Chennai Super Kings, but their way of operation is so much more ruthless, especially when it comes to dealing with players at times when it comes to taking big decisions. Right now, they exactly knew what Rohit Sharma's future is going to be with this team. And Rohit Sharma as a batter hadn't really contributed for MI in the last 4 seasons. And
Yeah.
given the fact that he has not won a tournament in the last 3 seasons, that only added to the disarray at which he's going to be sacked. But then they should have done it much better because, as Teju mentioned, that is going to really spoil the dressing room atmosphere, which I'm really worried about. Otherwise, I don't see anything else happening. Or if Rohit Sharma doesn't play for this team for this season, it's going to be very surprising. I'm expecting Rohit Sharma to play at least for this season and from the mega auction season, him to be released out, and he's going to be open in the market for anybody to pick him up, but at least not now. Now, if you look at the players they might obviously go for, Dilshan Madhuchanka is an option. Alzari Joseph, who's already got a Mumbai tie, might want to come in. Akil Hussain, given the fact that they can
basically
actually
they are going to look for a replacement for a Jofra Archer.
obviously
They would
that's
need
going
a
to be one factor,
yeah.
but at the same time they only have very few amount of budget which they have. They cannot really overspend. Or if you look at the budget they have as well, they know that who exactly to spend on. Now let's look at Mumbai Indians, right? What's the budget there? They have 17.75
17.75.
crores. Now how much can they spend on in every ball? They can't definitely go for a ball that's like 15 crore and leave and buy him
I
and
think the
be
max
happy with
that they
4
can
crores.
go for is I think around 10 to 11. That should
eight
be their
eight
limit.
to nine crores is my opinion. That's the only way they can build a core because they can go in with a playing 11 of seven Indian batters. They can fill in at least with three overseas bowlers, including Bumrah, and they can get an overseas spinner as well if need be. That's what Akil Hussain I'm looking at. If they can get Hasaranga at 8 9 crores is a good buy in my opinion, and they can go in for another pacer at 4 5 crores, then buy another Indian all rounder in my opinion. I was very surprised that they let go of who is it? Ramandeep Singh. I thought he was a good option as
Yeah.
well. They
Yeah.
could have really groomed him, but now with Hardik Pandya back in, I don't see they don't want really an all rounder.
Then they
But
also got someone like Nehal Vadera as well, and
Nehal
Tera
Vadera
Sharma as
as
well.
well.
So they don't
Exactly,
really need one. I think that's the reason why
exactly,
it's better for Ramandeep Singh as well that he gets to move.
exactly, exactly. Let's look at Punjab. Obviously, a team who's already or is known for their big buys in the auction. Let's look at the
Fresh
budget
face
there.
every year.
Yeah, fresh team every year. We don't know who's the captain for this season, but 29
That's
crores,
every
that's a lot
season.
of money for Punjab. That's like giving a that's like giving a kid a free hand in a candy store. They know how to really go out there and make a mess of it. So 29.1 crore
And that is exactly
and
you see in the
Is the
predictive
kid
analysis section they have Rachin Ravindra. Because
is
I
the
think
kid
if they have
ready to
29,
go
they are
for
going to spend 13, 14 on
don't
Rachin.
be surprised if they get both Sachin Ravindra and Travis Head in the team because they are a team who goes with the hype, and the hype of the
yeah.
hour is Travis Head, Sachin Ravindra, and if need be, even a Mitchell Stark. So this is what they'd go at. They have a Kagiso Rabada, they have Sikandar Raza, they have Liam Livingston, they have Johnny Bairstow. It's a decent
Which
core.
also
They're a
shows
very
the
good
fact
team, to
that
be honest, on the paper.
they don't need a Rachin Ravindra. They have already so many batters who can ball. They don't need a Rachin Ravindra, but they will go for Rachin
They
Ravindra
still
and
will go
Travis
for
Head. I
a
think
Travis Head and Rachin Ravindra, in my opinion. And
yeah,
Azmatullah Umarzai primarily because they need that all rounder because they let go of Shah Rukh Khan now. They need someone to do a job both with the bat and the ball. Sam Curran hasn't really come good for them with the bat and the ball. He went for a lot of runs, but I'm expecting Sam Curran to start almost every game. He's a sure starter. But alongside him, Shivam Mavi can be a decent Indian bowler because I felt last season they really lacked their extra Indian pace. They went for Rishi Dhawan, who did decently okay, but I want to see a better Indian pace in that role. So
Yeah,
I
because
say
if you
Shivam
look at
Mavi.
the foreign slots, I think Punjab Kings have already got themselves sorted. Because with the likes of Kagiso Ravada, Johnny Bairstow, Liam Livingston, Nathan Ellis, Sam Curran, and Sikandar Raza, you don't really want for more. I think they can pick the four out of the six itself,
Yes,
but they're still going to go for a Rachin Ravindra and Travis Head, like you mentioned. So that is going
yes,
to create a lot of more complexities in the foreign slots as well, and that
yeah,
is where they'll need, say, uh, the likes of a Shikhar Dhawan to fire this time
yeah,
around. He got injured last time around after a great season, but experience is what they are lacking on at the top and at the
yeah,
bottom as well. Like you
yeah.
said, they need a good
Absolutely,
Indian pacer and a decent enough experienced Indian batter at the top as well. And that is why I think
absolutely.
Manish Pandey would be a good addition to the squad as well.
Yeah. Teju says Hardik in Mumbai is same power as Mbappe in PSG. A very similar drama
I
and
agree.
more.
I agree. Yeah,
He's
very
become
similar.
the attention for all the unnecessary drama, Hardik Pandya, and he's got himself to blame for it. I
And
think
he loves
he
that.
should have acted more prudently. Okay, it's homecoming. That's the only leeway for him, that he's coming back to the franchise which owns him. But to go out of the franchise and to ill talk about the franchise and to come
And
back,
then
that's
come
not a
back
good thing.
and
That is
then
not a good
remove the one guy who's probably built
Yes.
that legacy.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
I don't know
know.
how he's
Maybe
gonna win the
he
fans
wants to
back.
convey something else, because Hardik Pandya is often mistaken for the way in which he talks. Sometimes that's not what he really means. That's one
Yeah.
thing
But
about
then he
Hardik
should
Pandya,
learn
right?
how to talk as well. If
Yeah,
that is
now
the
you're a
case, I think he should
captain.
learn how to
You're
talk.
possibly India captain as well, and I see Hardik Pandya leading Indian team in T20 World Cup now, for all that matters, because this is clearly sign of things to come. So if you are Indian captain in one of the formats, if you're going to be World Cup leading captain, so you need to know how to talk at the right point.
Yeah,
But let's go to
exactly.
Rajasthan
Communication skill
Royals,
is very
obviously.
important.
Let's go to Rajasthan Royals because they're a team who's done decently well in the last couple of. Last season was a disappointment, but season before that, finalist, got very exciting players, obviously up their ranks. Did trade in Avesh Khan, who was one of the big trades of the season, because they wanted an Indian pacer who could ball in the death alongside Trent Bolt. And they might just go in with these kind of players, isn't it? How What do you think, Jaren, about the Rajasthan Royals team looking at it from the outset?
Yeah, a very interesting one looking at them because I mean, while Avesh Khan is a very important bid for them, I still don't know if 10 crores was worth it because when you for me, I mean when I look at trade table, the way I look at it is whether you get
I think we just lost Jaren there, but yeah, you
Yeah, I
can carry
think,
on. Sorry.
yeah, coming on to Rajasthan Royals, I feel this is a team that already is sorted. The players that they have in the lineup, the likes of Kuldeep Sen, uh, could have come in and filled the boots that they were looking for Avesh Khan to fill. Because in the past, Avesh Khan has been really good for Lucknow Super Giants in the IPL, but
Yeah,
in recent times, apart from yesterday's game, I think Avesh Khan has not looked at his best. He is that one bowler who has been going on for quite a few runs. He has been quite inconsistent as well. But if what we saw yesterday are a sign of things to come, then I think it's a good call for them to go in with Avesh Khan. And I think they have their squad sorted. They have Ravichandran Ashwin, they have Yuzi Chahal, they have the likes of Riyan Parag and all the other players as well that they would have liked to retain. And I think this auction, they don't even have the purse. They have around 14 crores to buy 8 players, and they can fill it in with 3 foreign slots. So I don't think they are going to do much in this auction table. They are just going to be Rajasthan Royals and
yeah, I
chill
mean
around. Yeah.
yeah,
that's exactly my point. I mean, when I before I had to got disconnected, that's exactly what my point is going to be. When you look at a trade table now, for example, Hardik Pandya is a steal because you would have to say that Hardik Pandya, if you buy him in the auction, you don't know
yeah.
if you'll get him at the same price again. You probably
Hmm.
might go for probably might be the highest bidder ever, and I think that's a steal at that price. But
Yeah,
Avesh Khan, I don't know if he would have gone at 10 crores, 11 crores. I think 10 crores is what they got him for.
yeah,
And that all of a sudden puts them at 14 crores with 8 slots available and 3 of
yeah,
them in foreign. And
yeah.
that has put them at a huge disadvantage. And that means
But I
at
still
least,
think,
I mean, at
with
least six
Lasit
of
Krishna, Avesh
those
Khan,
eight
Trent
slots
Bolt
are going to
forms
be.
at four, it's a decent bowling attack, to be honest. I
Yeah, I
know
think they
Lasit
have their
It is.
11
Krishna
It is
sorted. They
absolutely.
have their core
But
sorted.
my question is, no, my question, Abel, is obviously Lucknow Super Giants are about to release Avesh Khan. Why
Yeah.
would you go in and swoop him in at a price where
I don't know if
you
they
know
would have
you're probably
released
going
him,
to
to
get
be
him for
honest.
cheaper in the.
Avesh Khan would have still been part of the team. I'd say why, because in Lucknow, see now at this point, if you look Lucknow would want to buy an Indian piece, as I mentioned. If you look at that predictive analysis as well, they want to go
Hmm.
in with a Karthik Tyagi. Now,
Hmm.
what is the chances that you might get Karthik Tyagi in an auction like this, where a lot of teams have big purses as well? Mumbai Indians would want a bit of Karthik Tyagi. Some other teams would
Hmm.
want a
Hmm.
bit
Hmm.
of Karthik Tyagi. So I still think Lucknow leasing someone like Avesh Khan was question mark, and Rajasthan wanted to fill that hole. So it's a win-win. And as Sandeepani mentioned, I think they're well settled at this point. They do not be really ruffled by what's happening around them. Am I cheating? Captain is the most traitor type of utter nonsense decision. Yeah, I mean, world has an opinion on that, but I still think MI will stick to it. And if MI has a good season, everybody's going to look back and say, "Wow, we won an IPL trophy for a long time. Welcome Hardik Pandya on board." I think it's all seasonal. I can understand the hate, but the moment
Is
MI
it
does
though? I
well,
mean, I'll be very frank. I will. MI crowd is one of the most vocal crowds out there, and I want to see the first couple of matches. I think then probably that opinion will shift.
I don't
But
think they'll
Hardik
go
has a
back,
long
go
way. He
after the
has to
team, to
perform
be
well
very
this
honest. They
See,
might
but
just,
the I think it's more sentimental. As I said, the World Cup final loss, and then
yeah.
suddenly Rohit
No,
Sharma getting
also
yeah.
there's also
Go ahead.
another thing, right? I mean, when it comes to a franchise like MI,
I think, you know
they've
what,
already
let's
won a
not
trophy.
talk about this
It's
even
not
more
like an
because we spent
RCB
almost
or
30 minutes on that particular topic. So I
Exactly.
don't think there's enough to talk
we
about
did,
that
we did.
this time and time
Yeah.
again, because we're going to replay it. But let's go to RCB now. They've released a lot of players. They've gotten Cameron Green as the biggest trade from Mumbai again. This all things could have been avoided if Cameron Green wasn't traded in from Mumbai Indians. You know, all this drama could have been stopped. You know, Hardik Pandya would have never joined the Mumbai Indians, and they would have been struggling to fill that shoes. And Rohit Sharma would not have been removed. So RCB has an indirect hand to play in all this from the outside. Let's look at the options they have, right? I mean,
As they always do.
yeah, look at who they can buy. They can buy a Lockie Ferguson from Predictive Analysis. I still think they'll go for the Shardul Thakur is what my gut feel says, to support someone like a Mohammad Siraj, because they want the number 8 batting option as well. And maybe an Adil Rashid, but I really see them going more with an Indian spinner like a Shreyas Gopal, because he's part of the training camp, and also a couple of Indian bowlers as well. One more Indian pacer as well, ideally speaking, because Rajat Patidar is going to be fit for the season. Then you have a Manoj Bandange, who's had a phenomenal side, Mustaq Ali and Vijay Hazare as well. So how do you see this team?
I think this is another team that are sorted. They'll just need to fill their foreign players slot, because I think they have 5 foreign players and they'd be looking to get in 3 out of the 6 possible players. So yeah, from the Indian talent point of view, I agree with you. I think it is a team that would look to get in a Harshal Patel. And even if Harshal Patel goes on for 8, 9, 10 crores, whatever, they still have not Harshal Patel, sorry, Shardul Thakur. They still have the purse to get him in, and that would fulfill the number 8 slot as well, something which Harshal Patel was doing for the side. And then again, you will have the likes of, they'll probably go in for a Lockie Ferguson. I'm not sure if they'll go in for a Lockie Ferguson or they'll go in for that foreign pace option, because now they won't have Josh Hazelwood. Cameron Green coming in definitely adds a lot of balance to the side. And I think it was a great trade. So kudos to them. And I still feel that they are really sorted with only 6 players
Yeah.
needed, 19 players already available, 23 crores in the purse. I think they will, going into the
I think
auction,
the
they'll be
only
one of
area
the
they
more
don't really
confident teams.
fix is that spin bowling department. I think someone like Shreyas Gopal is someone they'd want to get into this team. Indian spinner is a gold dust if you look at this point, because I never thought there would be a point where there'll
Yeah.
be a dearth of Indian spinners in the market. And at this point, there's a lot of dearth in Indian spinners, Indian leggies especially. So I think Shreyas
And I
Gopal,
think
yeah, go ahead.
Shreyas Gopal, I feel, also fits the profile of spin ballers who can do well in Chinnaswamy, because
And he's a
you look at
local
the
boy.
kind of ballers who've done well.
Last season, he was playing for Karnataka.
He's a local boy as well, precisely. I think except for Yuzvendra Chahal, everyone else who's done well, especially leggies, are the ones who ball it quicker and flatter. And that's pretty much how it's worked out for RCB over the years, except for Yuzvendra Chahal, who's the only exception
Yeah,
in that. And I think Shreyas Gopal is someone who can do that very well. That's just stock
yeah,
delivery. And he does have that one ball which he, kind of flights it up there, asking the batter to make a mistake.
yeah.
So I think
And he can
he'll
bat
be a
as
perfect
well.
pick. And you
Like,
spoke about number
so,
8 batting. Yeah,
yeah.
your number 8 batting is also going to be sorted, and he's going to be a cheaper pick than Shardul Thakur, whom you really don't need when you have a Cam Green.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I still think they'll go for one more Indian pacer. They want to break the bank on one Indian pacer alongside someone like though they have Vijay Kumar Vaishak in the team, but ideally speaking, they want one more Indian pacer, Karthik Tyagi, Shardul Thakur, and one overseas pacer to support Reece Topley, because Reece Topley he gets injured quite a lot, so you
Hmm.
can't really give any hopes on. You can't really put your bank on him and say Reece Topley will be fit for the whole of
I
season.
think Chris Vokes would be a good pick for RCB.
I think they want to go for an express pacer. That's why
Yeah.
I see Loki or even Koidze or Mitchell Stark slash. So this will be their options.
Yeah.
Or Spencer Johnson is another one who you can get. If not, if you want to look for
I
an
think
Indian
Spencer
pacer,
is in.
Nathan Sakaria is a decent pick in my opinion. If you look at how they want to play, you
Yeah.
can come for a low budget as well. 2 crore, 3 crores, he can really come into your team and he can give you that extra bit of third bowling option. Whenever Siraj and the main ball is bowling, because this is where us will have to be very careful. Who is your 6 bowlers? Now you have Cam Green, Glenn Maxwell, Siraj sorted. who are the next three who's going to ball.
But
If
Chetan
RCB
Sakaria
has
is a
got
player
better,
that did not excite you, Abel. Why do you want him for RCB?
I'm just saying about who they can get. It doesn't excite me
Yeah.
even now.
Okay.
I think he wants him for RCB because he knows that RCB usually is filled with.
Yes, I think we
Yeah.
lost there once again. Okay, either way.
No, no, you
SRH.
did not lose me. I mean, that was pretty much what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay,
I want to
fine.
finish the sentence on that awkward.
Okay, fine. SRH is the last team we're going to talk about today. They've got a lot of ballers, to be honest, Indian ballers at this point. If you look, Shahbaz Ahmed is a trade they've gotten. They sold Mayank Dagar to RCB. We forgot to speak about him. He's a good number 8 option as well. Left arm spinner, can battle a little bit. Shahbaz Ahmed is a big trade for them. Washington
Yep.
Sundar Shahbaz Ahmed can form a decent number 7, number 8 for them. Then they have Umran, Natraj, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. But we're not sure with last season who are they really looking to play in this team, because there's still a lot of confusion when it comes to using the Indian talent, and this team has been extremely confused in terms of how
Yeah.
they should go about it.
Especially how they used Umran Malik and a Kartik Tyagi. Those were really absurd for me. And I think they had a lot of pacers, Indian pacers in their team. And I think
Yeah,
this team still looks really, really sorted. They'll just be looking to get in those foreign players. And I
yeah.
think
I
if they
think
can get
Glenn
in a
Phillips
Warindu
is
Hassananga,
Yeah, I
balling
think
in recent
they'll
past is going to
probably
really give
break
them
the
that.
bank, according to me. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think they'll probably break the bank for Vanindu Hassananga because last year as well we spoke about this major issue that they had is that they did
yeah,
not have a spinner who's an attacking spinner.
yeah,
They had Adil Rashid, but we always had a doubt on his bowling, especially in especially in Rajiv Gandhi Stadium. But I think Hasaranga could be that player. Again, give them a little bit more option with the bat, which I
yeah.
really hope that they use
well,
him
I
better than
think
RCB
Rashid Khan
using him at the bat.
had left a huge void in this SRH camp, and they're still looking to fill. I totally agree. Fill in that
Yeah,
leg spinner for an
Not
option.
just that, I still think if you look at this team right now, they have a lot of batting option and bowling options because Glenn Phillips is bowling right now. Then you have an Aiden Markram who can bowl. Shahbaz and
but
Washington
they
plays
don't
at
have
7,
a
8.
spinner even who's specialized, or not
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
but either
specialized,
way,
but a
this
spinner
is
who can get
a
you
well balanced
batting.
T20 team from the outset. Andre Clarkson, Glenn Maxwell, no, Glenn Phillips, Aiden Markram. That's a
Yeah,
very good 4-5-6 or 3-4-5. Either way, they can go about it. And then if they can get someone like a Kona as Bharat, in my opinion, who can keep wickets and give them a little bit of runs up top, this team is sorted to be winning, as you rightly mentioned. Then you have a Marco Jansen, then you have a Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Natrajan, Umran Malik. I think this team can go do a decent job. And let's not forget Rahul Tripathi for that matter. We've been not talking about
hmm.
him because he's not really in Indian
Been in the
contention
news.
at this point for some
Yeah.
odd reason. But if he also comes and have a good season alongside them, this is a decent team. And if they can get one more overseas pick as a backup, which I think Travis says is going to be a backup in this team more than anything else, or at Harry Brooks' replacement, who they had last season, this team is sorted
I
to be
think he's
honest.
a Harry Brook replacement.
Then if he also goes on to
And
play,
I
then we
also
have
feel it
Travis
will,
Head who can ball, Glenn Phillips who can ball, Aiden Markham who can ball,
yeah,
Washington Sundar, Shahbaz Ahmed. That is 10, 12 overs sorted right there. Then your main ballers can chip in anytime.
yeah, I
And that's
think,
a decent team.
yeah. No, I mean, I
Yeah, I
think
think
they'll probably play Travis. If they get Travis head, they'll play him ahead of Glenn Phillips, that's for sure. Because of the kind of hype he's created. He's also more bankable, I feel, than Glenn Phillips. I think what they wanted with the Harry Brooks is to have an explosive opener. I think that can be done with Travis Head, and he can contribute with this ball. So pretty much, except for wicket keeping, Travis Head can
Already
do
played
everything
in
that
a
Glenn Phillips can.
disaster season for SRH because Vittori's a coach. They can expect a lot of New Zealanders going there. So I can expect Rachin Ravindra ahead of a Travis Head there. That's one thing we need to really keep wary of. Because with
they
Vittori,
have
he
the
likes to
bank.
go into that core. And maybe instead of a Chris Wokes, Kyle Jamieson is not a bad addition into this team as well. So that's how they'd want to operate. Get in as many Kiwis as possible and play in with the Kiwi core team and see how they go. Rachin Ravindra is a good fit for
But
that team as well.
Teju, I think Vittori was also one of the coaching staff for Australia as well in this
Yeah,
World
but
Cup.
he was not the main coach, so let's not jump in. He has no
Yeah.
option to play Australians in that team. Other than that, he would have
I
gotten
think,
Kiwis to trade
come
him.
on, you guys are being salty now. I think this is a salty RCB fans now.
No, there's
Yeah.
He's
no.
a
Being very
legend for
honest,
RCB. Come
look
on.
at the teams he has coached, right? Let it be PSL, let it be RCB, let it be a lot of other teams. He's always brought in Kiwis into the team, and that's been the factor. I mean, recently he's coached Australia
Yeah,
because
true.
he was handcuffed that he couldn't trade in Kiwis. Otherwise, that would have been 3, 4 New Zealanders would have played even there. So I remember him going for Tim South and Corey Anderson.
Maybe I think
Brendan
Yeah.
McCullum, I remember that was a very absurd trade in. I didn't even understand what was the point. But yeah, that's about it from us for today. Thank you all for joining. I mean, obviously, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we can do a watch along auction stream. That's about it. And have a good time. All of you, hope you are watching our football streams as well. Don't forget to check out Boomer 11 because India is taking on South Africa tomorrow. You can make your team there and win a lot of points by playing on Boomer 11 and win a lot of prizes as well. Take care and see you all soon. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.